Marijuana is the most profitable illegal narcotic.
This is a huge business. In California alone, it is the #1 crop.
There's at least 13 gardens within a mile radius of our home.
13 gardens right around your house.
Yes.
Wow.
Thousands of growers, millions of users, and a market in the billions.
How much money was coming in to your marijuana smuggling operations every year?
About $50 million.
It's a multi-billion-dollar business, rife with guns, gangs, and plenty of money. I'm Trish Regan. Join me for an unprecedented look inside America's marijuana industry.
I'm here to eradicate the scum that have infiltrated my county and made it nationally known as a producer county of good marijuana.
And now, the CNBC original documentary, Marijuana Inc., Inside America's Pot Industry.
Welcome to Ukiah, California.
The scene, a county fair. 2 hours from San Francisco, but a world away from the urban bustle. Here, families stroll the fairgrounds. Future farmers examine prize livestock. This is Northern California's Mendocino County. At first glance, a picture postcard of the far west. But beneath its beauty lies a controversial, profitable, and increasingly violent criminal enterprise.
Yeah, 5 pounds here, and then 4 pounds in the baby crib right here.
An exploding underground industry, the marijuana trade. Marijuana is being grown in homes, backyards, even our national parks.
This is ground zero for marijuana. Nobody produces any better marijuana than we do right here.
This is as natural as growing corn to me.
Ukiah Morrison is a Mendocino pot grower. In most places, that would make him an outlaw, but not in this neck of the woods.
This is the lifeblood of the county, and it has been for more than 30 years.
Morrison walks a fine line, growing as much marijuana as he can without triggering a legal crackdown. He can do that because authorities here are overwhelmed by the sheer number of growers. They're also hampered by conflicting state, federal, and county laws governing marijuana. It is the major cash crop here. A county commission study reports pot accounts for up to 2/3 of the local economy.
I don't think there's anything more important in this economy, so to take this out would be a major blow.
Though reliable numbers are hard to come by, that wave of pot in Mendocino County is estimated to be worth more than $1 billion, a sizable chunk of a national market for marijuana believed to be in the tens of billions of dollars. It all begins right here with this marijuana plant. This is a typical pot garden. There are thousands of these all over Northern California. This is just a tiny portion of a huge harvest in this area that's known as the Emerald Triangle. So what Iowa is to corn, what Kansas is to wheat, the Emerald Triangle is to marijuana.
The marijuana plants in Mendocino County can, sometimes reach 14, 15, 20 feet.
Wow. I mean, what is this? This has got to be at least 8 feet.
Yeah.
9 feet.
A Mendocino local, Eric Slide, took us on a tour of one backyard garden.
What is the part of the plant that you actually make money off of?
You see these, what we call nodes up here, right? And those are going to push out what's called a bud. Okay, and these are going to create a larger bud that could weigh anywhere between 3 grams, 5, 10 grams.
And the bud is what actually is taken off of the plant and chopped up and made into marijuana. How much is a plant like this actually worth?
A plant like this, assuming that it's going to yield about 2 pounds, it'd be worth about $5,000.
And how many plants are here?
There's 20 plants here.
Okay, so we're talking about a garden worth of...
potentially $100,000.
My goodness.
Eric's expertise in marijuana led him to publish Grow, a magazine that represents just how far the marijuana business has come.
For what marijuana is in this region, it's not very well documented. For people who live in these areas, marijuana as a topic deserves a larger forum.
His magazine displays photos like this. They provide an extraordinary glimpse into a drug-based economy.
The publication that I've put together has definitely been referred to as marijuana porn.
Eric shot this rare video of a huge commercial indoor garden that provides harvests 4 times a year.
It takes a team of like 5 to 10 people to run this level of growing. If the owner of the land and the people who are really running things, they might make up to $500,000 on an annual basis.
There's a reason California is experiencing such a marijuana boom. First of all, state law. They actually allow you to grow marijuana for medicinal purposes here in this part of the country. Secondly, there's been an increase in border security as a result of 9/11. So that's meant fewer foreign sources of marijuana coming into the country. And the result? Ever-increasing demand for Mendocino's finest.
While California's state law permits residents to grow a small number of pot plants, under federal law, pot is flat out illegal. But talk to Eric, and marijuana begins sounding more and more like any other legitimate commodity. Grapes, wheat, coffee.
There's a very developed system of brokering marijuana that exists throughout California.
What does a marijuana broker specifically do?
It's just like a commodities broker on Wall Street. They're figuring out where it's at, they're getting it for the lowest price they can get it, and they're bringing in the buyer and trying to get the buyer to pay the highest price they can. So the margin in between is where they make their money. You could actually kind of have like what's called a clearinghouse. It's a place where you take things and you have someone else sell it, and they take a commission.
The economics of this drug are simple and attractive. It costs an estimated $400 to grow a pound of pot. 1 pound sells for $2,500 to a middleman. It then yields $6,000 on the street. Because of low startup costs and overhead, marijuana is the most profitable drug of all. With that kind of profit margin, marijuana is increasingly filling the gap left by other failing industries like lumber and fishing.
If we didn't have marijuana, what would this county be like?
Well, what would it be like?
I don't know. I think we'd all be selling Amway. What else are people doing up here?
Since the 1960s, the Emerald Triangle has increasingly become the haven for people looking to grow marijuana and make a living at it.
And you keep saying that this is just so normal. I mean, the reality is, for me and plenty of viewers out there, this is not normal.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone does it.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with the culture that migrated to this area from San Francisco at the end of the 60s.
But those hippies, the liberal hippies, really learned how to turn marijuana into a serious business that's generating a ton of cash up here.
How about this? How about their kids learned how to turn it into serious cash?
There you go. We first visited this marijuana garden with Eric Sly during the height of the summer growing season. Now we're back 2 months later, right before the fall harvest.
When the plants have kind of reached a certain point, it's time to cut them down.
Remember, the marijuana bud itself is where the money is. Within weeks, this crop will be dried and ready for sale.
It's hard to tell how much the marijuana is actually going to sell for on the open market as well. Is that price going to be increased because of less supply? Is it going to be decreased because there's more supply? It's hard to tell how much marijuana is out there.
The basic law of supply and demand, just a normal part of life in Northern California's Emerald Triangle.
Sometimes I feel like I'm in a bubble because I just really don't know what it's like to not grow marijuana.
Coming up.
The biggest game in the private community of Augusta.
A story straight out of the hit series Weeds. A suburban mom goes back to school.
My husband is at the swim meet right now with my 3 boys because I'm here at class.
For some higher education.
I can see that perhaps in the future that could be my new calling.
But first.
I hate to say it, but Mendocino County is the true epitome of 2008's Wild Wild West.
911 emergency reporting.
Please help me. The guy's got a gun.
The dark side of life in pot country. That's next when Marijuana Inc. Inside America's Pot Industry returns.